Yes, ladies and gentlemen, what you see are both versions of the HP NV14. On the left is the Core i5 with a glossy touch display, and on the right is the Core i7 with the non-touch matte display. I put them through its paces, and I'll bring you my full review. Hey everybody, it's Andrew, and this is my review of the HP NV14. Coming up.
Now, as we take a look at the specs, in the interest of transparency and full disclosure, I'm not being paid by HP, I'm not being sponsored by HP. All the opinions you're about to hear are my own, and no one is seeing this video before its release. HP is not getting copy approval. They're seeing this video for the first time, just like you. Now, I did unbox my own unit, the Core i7 version, in my unboxing and first look video. Now, for those that didn't check out that video, the link will be in the description below. Now, I did receive the Core i5 unit with the touch display from HP, so once this review is done, I'll be sending it back. Now, the big deal here is the fact that we're now looking at a 14-inch display, 16:10 aspect ratio, a really nice design as far as the bezels are concerned. This is a really nice thin and light laptop. Let's get into it right now. Now, build quality on this is first rate, very rigid design. There's very little flex, if any, on this, and I gotta say, this is a very premium look to it. And at 3.3 pounds or 1.5 kilograms, definitely not the lightest 14-inch laptop we've seen, but definitely portable enough to take with you on the go. And for those wondering, yes, you can open the lid with one finger. Now, I went over the ports in my unboxing video, but for those that didn't see it, on the left side is a 3.5mm audio jack, a USB-A port, an HDMI port, and a Thunderbolt 4 port that does data charge and display out. Moving over to the right side, a micro SD card reader, a second USB-A port, and finally, your power port. But remember, you could also charge with that USB-C Thunderbolt 4 port as well. Now, I opened up this laptop in my unboxing video, but for those that didn't see it, it's super easy just to remove the T5 Torx screws, remove the bottom plate, and you're in. It's that simple. Now, once inside, you'll notice that it has dual fans for cooling. We'll get into thermals and surface temperatures later on in this video. And it also has a 63.3 watt-hour battery. We'll get into battery life and charging times a little bit later as well. And I really love the fact that there are copper plates on both the SSD and the RAM. Now, the SSD is user replaceable, although you get some really good reads and writes, as you can see from the results here. And as far as RAM is concerned, you can get this with up to 16 gigabytes of DDR4 3200 RAM, which is soldered into the motherboard, which means you cannot upgrade it yourself. That's a little bit unfortunate, of course. Now, you're looking at Wi-Fi 6 along with Bluetooth 5, and both are working well on those fronts. But one thing to note, the Wi-Fi card is soldered into the motherboard. You won't be able to upgrade that yourself as well. The HP NV14 comes in two different variants in terms of the displays. You can get a non-touch matte display, which you see on the left, and a touch glossy display, which you see on the right. Now, both displays are excellent in their own right, as you can see from the numbers. In my unboxing and first look video, we looked at the non-touch matte display, and what I like about it is the fact that you're not getting any unnecessary glare or reflections, which is great, especially if you want to get productivity worked on. If you're indoor or outdoor, you don't have that worry. Now, to show you the difference between the two, on the right is the touch glossy display, and as you can see my head in the reflection here in this shot. And on the left is the matte non-touch display, and there you don't see my reflection at all. But I have to say, the glossy touch display is excellent in its own right. As you can see, getting very bright at 397 nits, making this a good choice for both indoor and outdoor use. You're also looking at really deep blacks, great white points, excellent contrast, and a low delta E score of 1.21. It also covers the color gamut really well. 96% sRGB, 71% Adobe RGB, 71% of the DCI P3 wide color gamut, and 66% NTSC. Making this a good choice for content creators to do Lightroom, Photoshop, and of course, video editing. And as you can see here, the touch layer is very responsive, a nice way to navigate through the OS. According to HP, it is also pen compatible, although I didn't find a pen that I have on hand that was able to work with it. I'll find out which exact standard it uses to use the pen. But the bottom line is both displays are really great, whether you want the matte non-touch, which you see on the left, or the touch glossy display, which you see on the right. As you can see, both have their pros and cons, especially if you want that touch option and even the pen option. Of course, go with the one on the right. That's the one that HP sent over for review, by the way. And either way, you're looking at really thin bezels, giving off a modern look. I like that. In fact, you're looking at an 88% screen-to-body ratio, and you're also looking at a 16:10 aspect ratio, which I'm a big fan of. So this is the front-facing camera on the all-new HP NV14, a 14-inch laptop, 16:10 aspect ratio. It's a 720p, 30 frames per second webcam. It's not infrared webcam in terms of Windows Hello as far as face recognition. You cannot use that. But it does have a shutter switch, or a key, actually, a dedicated key on the keyboard, allowing you to turn off the webcam, giving you more security and privacy. I'm curious to know what you think. Let me know in the comment section below. Now, the keyboard is actually really good tactile feedback, excellent key travel, and I didn't feel like my fingers were bottoming out. It also has a multi-stage backlight that allows you to get work done in a dark room or a dimly lit environment. It also has a precision touchpad. It's a glass touchpad, nicely sized. Two-finger scrolling is buttery smooth. All the Windows gestures work as advertised. And as you can see from the numbers, performance was very good on both the Core i5 and the Core i7. That's because both are running the NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1650 Ti with Max-Q in terms of the GPU. Now also keep in mind the Core i7 version that I have also has 16 gigabytes of RAM as opposed to the 8 gigabytes of RAM on the Core i5 model. Doing things such as Microsoft Office, email, web browsing all worked well. Video editing, 4K video editing, thanks to that GTX 1650 Ti with Max-Q, was definitely doable. And you could even game on this as indicated by the playable frame rates on some of the more popular titles, as you can see from the numbers. And when I ran the Prime 95 stress test, it would turbo boost up to 3.8 gigahertz and maintain a core temperature of 80 degrees Celsius. That would last for about 15 seconds, and then it would drop down to 3.4 to 3.6 gigahertz, but never going below that 80 degrees Celsius temperature. And as far as the surface temperatures are concerned, never getting overly hot. Now this has dual fans for cooling, and I gotta say, it did a pretty good job, and the fans aren't too loud. Even on the performance mode, you will notice it a little bit, but nothing terrible, nothing too obnoxious. And one of the reasons we're seeing improved thermals on this laptop is that it has 3 times the number of fan blades that we normally see, and those fan blades are thinner, improving the airflow. And when it comes to battery life, the 63.3 watt-hour battery doesn't disappoint, whether you go with the non-touch matte display or with the touch glossy display. With the non-touch matte, you're looking at 11 hours and 39 minutes. With the touch glossy display, you're looking at 11 hours and 3 minutes. In other words, you're looking at all-day battery life. Now, if you do need to plug in, the supplied 135 watt power adapter will give you a charge in just a little bit over an hour and a half, and that's pretty good. There are 2 downward-facing speakers. They're actually off to the side, which is good, not directly facing down, so you're getting a little bit better sound, decent volume, which fills up a room pretty nicely. Mids are okay, and I would say there's a hint of bass, and they are Bang & Olufsen tuned, so that's pretty good in terms of the sound. Okay, let's bring it all home. Can I recommend the HP NV14 here for 2021? And the answer is an absolute yes. This is a home run by HP. I like its bright, sharp 14-inch display with that 16:10 aspect ratio. I like the fact that the fans remain quiet during heavy load. Excellent keyboard and touchpad. Good port selection. I like that it supports USB-C charging. You can expect all-day battery life thanks to that 63.3 watt-hour battery. It has Thunderbolt 4 support, rigid design. It has a webcam shutter. Now the negatives here, of course, no IR camera for Windows Hello login, no RAM or wireless LAN upgrade by the user, and the fingerprint reader replaces the control key. But none of those are deal breakers by any stretch, ladies and gentlemen. This is my editor's choice for the clamshell 14-inch category here for early 2021. Making the HP NV14 definitely worth your money.
So please hit the like button, please subscribe, please share this video. Don't forget to leave a comment in that comment section below. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know if there's a device or something out there you think I should review. I'll do my best to try to make that happen. Don't forget to check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, my website, amdtechreviews.com. So until next time, this is Andrew from AMD Tech. See ya.